What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome to the RNEWS morning show. And let's just jump into it. From r/World News. World's richest 1% cause double CO2 emissions of poorest 50%, says Oxfam. The richest 10% of the global population, comprising about 630 million people, were responsible for about 52% of global emissions over the 25-year period. The study showed, globally, the richest 10% of those with incomes above about $35,000, £27,000 a year, and the richest 1% of people earning more than about $100,000. For anyone wondering, I'm disabled and unemployed and I'm in the top 10%, really puts that value into perspective. The anti-1% crowd, realistically, are the 1%. The anti-1% crowd, realistically, are the 1%. From a global perspective, yes, that's just saying that countries like United States are one of the greatest contributors to carbon emissions per capita, therefore a greater responsibility to act. No doubt even the wealthiest 1% within the US itself are contributing more than their own share to emission levels. Edit. In terms of contribution by the top 1% in the US, using their money to support policies promoting the fossil fuel industry probably has a greater impact than whatever they consume as individuals. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/Politics. Emergency investigation. House Democrats threaten to impeach AG Barr. I'd be interested to know if any of that tutti in dirty money made its way to Barr. Oversight.house.gov. This is the only other one I could find. Does Trump like underage girls? Does a bear crap in the woods? I read it as does a bar crap in the woods? He would if that's where the Constitution was. Hello, 911. I need to report a sick burn. That's COVID level sick. And it's absolutely warranted. He's the most corrupt AG in US history. He has committed impeachable offenses. Fricking do it. Republicans have shown they do not play by the rules and make up their own. At least with this they have a mountain of evidence to actually rely on. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/Politics. Bob Woodward says he will release audio tapes of Trump talking about Supreme Court. Trump will have appointed 300 judges. Wow, that's crazy. Almost as many as the previous two administrations did in each of their 2 terms. That's what happens when Turtle McTrater specifically denied Obama literally hundreds of judicial appointments. Everyone remembers Garland, and with good reason. But the lower courts were deliberately left bereft of judges by the will of fricking McConnell. He was waiting for a Republican rubber stamp so he could frick the courts just as hard as he has. Frick democracy. Frick the GOP. Not Mitch McConnell. The GOP as a whole. They let him get away with it as much as they let Trump get away with it. Don't focus on one person, they are all culpable. Every single one. I was just thinking about the Woodward book and how that almost instantly just became another footnote on the whole Trump shit show now that Justice Ginsburg has passed. Not to mention the losers and suckers story. Not to mention the Russian bounties on the heads of American soldiers story. Even if it's Trump admitting to poisoning her, it wouldn't matter. It still bewilders me that Trump had hours of on-the-record recorded conversations about a myriad of topics with Bob Woodward, who helped take down a corrupt president and has written several books critical of subsequent presidents, including a book critical of his own presidency that he hated. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/News. Kentucky doctor who urged mask wearing early on dies of COVID-19. PSA. Your refusal to wear a mask does not make you clever, brave or a patriot. You're just an butthole. Imagine having a worldview where preventing the spread of droplets from your mouth is somehow political, and very likely a plot by opposition parties to suppress your opinions. Listen here, you little crap. This is my America and my droplets will fly anywhere they damn well please. Don't you dare tread on my rights. TFW when you do everything right and try to save people and still die for no reason. Literally the life of countless healthcare workers out there. Or, at least, what used to be their life. And the destiny of the ones that are left and have to deal with these morons. I'm planning to go into healthcare. And I'm terrified. Alternate title: Kentucky's only educated person dead by failed state federal response to COVID. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. Woman falls out of car window and onto highway while filming Snapchat video. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride trying to holler at me. Edit formatting. 9. Ich don't want no scrub. Ein scrub is a schlub das can get no love. Even if he just got to scrub her off the pavement. A few years back in my city, two cops were driving 55 miles per hour on the freeway. They saw someone in a car ahead of them fall or get pushed out of a car, roll and land on his feet. They said he looked like he was okay until the next car hit him. Noise yes no. Car ahead of them until the next car hit him. She fell out of a car, on a highway, and wasn't seriously injured, outside of a traffic jam where the cars are essentially parked. How is that even possible? She had the bubble wrap filter on. That's funny. Wanted to be on Snapchat but ended up on Reddit instead. Social media's participation trophy. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics. Kushner reportedly said that's their problem when New York pleaded for help with COVID-19 supplies. Kushner being a psychopath is one of the less surprising things this year. Still, we need to make sure he is no longer federally employed. On November 3rd, Kushner filed lawsuits against tenants in New Jersey and Maryland, even as governors in both states called for a halt to evictions. Yeah, he's a freaking psychopath that has no regard for human life. Friendly reminder: his only qualifications are being married to a Trump. He also lacks empathy and scruples, which helps a lot. Those are requirement to marry a Trump. Republicans in 2016. Do you want Hillary in there? She's going to have Chelsea working in the West Wing. Do you want that? A dynasty. Republicans 2020. Doesn't Queen Ivanka look beautiful today as she meets with foreign leaders? And Prince Jared brought peace to countries, not a war. How wonderful. I like to remind myself that we won't be reading about this motherfricker much longer. America's laminated prince, as John Oliver calls him, is an absolute piece of crap. I like to remind myself that we won't be reading about this motherfricker much longer. Do not take this for granted. Trump and allies are actively working to cheat the election. Until election day, act under the assumption that Trump will win re-election and work like hell to defeat him. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like. And if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.